Good day, people. Hope you're all doing well. This is the Rust Door Predictions video, and as you can see, we've got all of these new skins, but in this video, we're going to go ahead and we're going to sit here and say what potentially will be the best skin to put your money towards, what potentially will be the best investment, what potentially will give you those delicious profits. Now, immediately, I'm going to put my focus towards the Artefact Thompson right here. We have talked about Thompsons quite a lot so far this year, and I did talk about it quite strongly in a 48-hour analysis video that I did just this past weekend, which I'm going to reference to you right now. Just first of all, as you can see, pretty much all of them are currently in the positive. There are two skins here that I wouldn't recommend as references because they sold a very stupidly high amount that we'll never see ever happen again. So yeah, overall, they're positive, they're strong, and now let's just hop over to here. So yep, you want to go take a look at my Rust Saturday 48-hour analysis for April 29, because in this video, for this on this specific chapter, Thompson skin reliability, I went through quite a lot of the Thompson skins that came out during the summer of 2022, and as you can see, when we hit post-Christmas time, they all rose up in price very strongly. And why post-Christmas time? Well, that's when most of the people were playing during this year, wasn't it? When loads of people return to playing the game, they tend to want to use Thompsons a lot. They tend to want to use Thompson skins a lot, and therefore the demand for the skins causes the prices go up. This is what we are usually expecting with Thompson skins. As you get, there you go, there's the retro one, and that's gone up in price very comfortably as well. Is my point across? So please consider watching that portion. It's only about 4 minutes long, but you will feel a whole lot more confident in investing into the likes of Thompson skins. Now, I should also point out to you, we don't really see that many Thompson skins being accepted. Yes, I sit there and say that literally as we had one Thompson skin appear after the other, but overall, we're probably expecting at most maybe just around 10 at most. That's it, and that usually keeps things fine. Like there's another thing that I really wanted to point out to you. We got some analytics now with these blogs, and you'll see that in terms of the percentage of damage by guns in Rust, Thompson's the third most. You know, Thompsons do get used a lot. So just understand this. With not so many skins being accepted, they tend to be spaced out usually, and with hardly any quantity on the Steam market, that's another thing that I mentioned in this video, they tend to be very reliable investments. In the long term, right? In the long term, that's looking to be perfectly fine. Also, it's mostly pure green. Hey, do you like to run around in Forest Raiders? Well, get a good look at that. Ooh, it matches up very nicely with it. So yeah. Artefact Thompson, if you were to sit here and say, Hedge, what's the best thing to buy that's at the very least going to retain its value throughout this year? I would say the Artefact Thompson. And let's see if we emulate what happened earlier this year or post-Christmas. Will we see all the Thompson skins that came out this year spike up in price with post-Christmas from 2023 into 2024? We shall find out. But at the moment, I'm optimistic with this, and I will go ahead and buy a bunch. I unfortunately didn't buy any tier 3 Thompsons. I forgot to do that, but I put down a strong buy order. Right, so that's the one thing I'm mainly confident with. Let's now start talking about some other skins that potentially might be doing all right. I will want to focus now the likes of the Reptile Hunter face mask and chest plate, because by default, if you understand what I'm referencing in regards to core pieces, that is tier 3 armor, tier 2 armor, and of course hoodie and pants, basically the very best set that you could wear. The only thing we really care about is tier 2, with the tier 2 as the kilt, if you understand that. So basically, what I'm sitting here trying to say is, this is the beginning of a potential new set. It's a bit goofy, but it's also dark green, and I think a lot of people would appreciate a nice new dark green set, I'm just saying. But the point I'm trying to get across is, we could potentially see some more being made and accepted. Hoodie and pants, tier 2, and what happens if we see that happen on the horizon? Well, the likes of the Reptile Hunter tier 3 set will go up in price. A new core piece being introduced will cause an already existing core piece to jump up in price, jump up in demand. Does that make sense? We have seen that quite recently with the likes of Hardsuit, sort of. Like, we're anticipating the arrival of Hardsuit tier 2 very strongly. So let me just get this across real quickly. When we had Hardsuit hoodie and pants, they sold a reasonable amount, but then, you know, nothing really happened. They kind of went down in price a bit. But then we got tier 3. Guess what? That jumped up in price. And then all 4 of this went down in price because we were waiting for the tier 2 for quite some time. Unfortunately, the tier 2 hasn't been accepted for a while, but we are expecting it to potentially appear for the likes of Complete the Sets on the horizon. But the funny thing is, with this being accepted, it's still caused all of that to go up in price. Literally 2 weeks ago, all of this was in a negative. This appeared, it all jumped up. It all went up in price. So what I'm sitting here saying is, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if Zimik, who was very successful with pizza collection, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up making a whole bunch of Reptile Hunter stuff in the near future, and of course with more clothing and armour being made and accepted. What do you reckon's going to happen to the tier 3 armour? Also, that face mask looks really cool. Very cool, transparent design there. So I think a lot of people would appreciate it. I think a lot of people would appreciate a nice dark green set. So, with that out of the way, what else should we mention? I'm on the fence on these next 2 skins. So, Rock from Hell and Camouflage Net Garage Door. Let's do Rock from Hell first. Rock from Hell is selling at $4.49. That's a fairly high price for a lot of people. But what this is also a fairly high price for is all of the people that like to buy tons of stock in excess. Basically, all those people out there that like to buy a whole bunch of skins, like take for example, I'm going to go buy 50 storm bows, if you get what I mean, like basically people who are buying purely with the intent to sell. There's nothing wrong with that, but if far too many people do that, we're going to have too much stock compared to actual demand, and that's a problem, isn't it? So what I'm trying to sit here and say is, we really do need to monitor the amount of sales that this has, and with its pricing, in theory you'd think, oh okay, surely this higher price will stop so many purchases happening. Well, this store has only been out for about 4 hours now, and this is already reaching about 5,000 sales. So, and then there's the other thing where I must bring up that most of the time, during the year, From Hell skins tend to go down in price by a fair bit. This is to be expected. This is a routine thing. But, when loads of people are playing the game again, like when kids are out of school, August time, post-Christmas time, people not working as much and people out of college and whatnot, post-Christmas time tends to be the time when most people play the game. It tends to get bought out a whole lot more, it tends to get used a whole lot more, and the prices tend to go up very nicely because of it. I will sit here, at the very least, and say, this Rock from Hell, it's abnormal. I'd rather do my buy order first, then, consider buying it. But at the very least, I think in the long term, when loads of people start playing the game again, I think it will go above its restore price. I'm just very unsure at the moment. It's awkward. Yes, we all use a rock at some point, but it's awkward, isn't it? I am looking at this hesitatingly, but then I already mentioned, if you understand what an abnormal skin is, you will know that this will become marketable at an earlier time compared to some of the other skins. So let's just see how many sell, let's do our buy orders, then consider buying it on the Thursday. That's my current answer. It's looking okay for the long term, but I kind of want to get a good idea of how okay it's going to be. Then we have the likes of the Camouflage Net Garage Door. Guys, this is part of a notable set. It is pretty much all deplorables, but I will point this out to you. When we had the likes of this being accepted first, a lot of people thought, oh yeah, surely we're going to see a whole bunch more Camouflage collection skins being made and accepted, and quite a short while afterwards we ended up seeing this being made and accepted. They never got the Desert Door, but a lot of us were very hopeful that we'd see a whole lot more Camouflage deplorables being made, but then we only ended up with these 2 after all of this batch, because originally it was just these rugs, and then about a year or so later, then we got this batch. But the main point I'm trying to get across is, we might look at this with optimism and think, oh wow, surely we're going to see some more Camouflage skins potentially being made, and it's going to look very cool because we can cover our entire base and make it look all camouflaged and whatnot. But there's been attempts. There have been attempts, but they haven't been accepted. And unfortunately, I do worry. I do worry because, this is actually, you might have noticed, this was a skin that was made 8 months ago. This was a bit of a surprise, but it's also a sneak, like a bit of a taster for what's coming next week with the likes of Most Wanted and Complete the Sets. We're going to see a lot of skins that are submitted quite some time back that are going to be accepted for those. But the main point I'm trying to get across is, I just can't guarantee I just don't think we're going to get more Camouflage stuff. You might sit there and say, oh, but I only need the garage door and the rug, that's fine. Well, you know what? How much is that rug right now? The forest rug is now selling for about $12. Can you afford that? Not everybody can afford that. Do you enjoy the gimmick? Does it actually work? Will Jim make another video? There's loads of things we have to consider. But it is also abnormal. So we can leave it for a while, see how many sales have happened, then make the decision whether or not to buy it. But I'm a bit hesitant. I did get a whole bunch of those sheet metal doors on buy orders, and for a long time they were not doing well. They were not doing well. Even during post-Christmas time, they were not doing well. So I remain on the fence on that. So the one main skin I feel very optimistic for is the Thompson. The pair of skins that I'm fairly okay with is the tier 3, and I'm on the fence on these two. I really do need to kind of wait and see what happens with the likes of their sales, and of course do my buy orders on them when the abnormal skins appear. So that's basically it. If I didn't mention any of the other skins, it's because I do not care for them. But we're looking at this with a financial perspective. If you do like the skins, if you do like the looks of these skins, by all means, buy it, use it, enjoy it, support the skin creators. But we're looking at this with that financial perspective, and we're trying to figure out what potentially will be a good investment. So yeah, if I haven't mentioned a skin from here, it's because I'm just not really that. I just don't think so. No. So by all means, enjoy the new wipe update and whatnot. Enjoy the new monument, and go out and find out. Our MP5s and Thompsons a whole lot better now. That's the main thing that we need to be aware of. Ooh. So yeah, let's see what happens. Thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely weekend.